Hey YouTubers, and welcome once again to another episode of the Samurai Monkey 42. In this video, I'm going to show you guys the different type of Japanese sword tassels from World War II and before World War I. I had previously made a video on Japanese sword tassels, but some of them I had to show them on pictures, and I've actually have all of them now, so I could better explain and show you guys how this Japanese sword tassels, great tassels, look like. So I'm gonna start with the first one, and this leather sword tassel was first introduced in 1870s by the Japanese government. This leather tassel that you see here, this primarily is something that you're going to find on Japanese NCO swords, but this was created by the Japanese government since the 1870s. This one here has the barrel here at the very end and has two sliders and the buckle here on the side. Obviously there's different variations. There's another one with one slider and it doesn't have the buckle, and there's some with just different materials. Now this four set of tassels that you see here were created by the Japanese government in 1934, and that's when they started to put grade on Japanese swords with their tassels, with the introduction of the Japanese Shingonto Type 94 sword. So right after 1934, they started to show grade when it came to rank and the Japanese government. So I'm going to show you guys first the brown one. Now this is a brown tassel that I found on this Shingonto sword, but the brown tassel is mainly for the Kaigonto Navy swords. These were given to Navy officers, and you're mainly going to find this on Kaigonto Navy swords, not the Shingonto, but this is one that I found with this swords. Next is the brown and blue tassel, which is given to lieutenant officers at the time. And then you can find the red and brown tassel, were given to colonel officers during World War II. And the last one, which is one of the hardest one to find because is the tassel for generals, and is the yellow, brown, and red tassel with the silver zigzag. This was given to generals during World War II, and this one I have with the Japanese Parasaur, Japanese General Parasaur, which has the turtle section here on the handle, very distinguished for generals at the time. They say that the Japanese changed colors changed the brown color from high to medium brown colors when it came to the tassels, because a lot of their officers were being targeted. So all the snipers were looking for was this tassels, and they knew the different ranks of the officers at the time, so they were being targeted. So they decided to tone down on the brown almost at the very end of World War II. Something from just looking at movies and just Asian movies, this brown tassels are just very common on Chinese. Well, tassels are just very common on Chinese swords and Japanese swords, and I think mainly is because while you're fighting, you can grab onto the tassel and wrap it around your head just to have a better grip of the sword and make sure that the sword doesn't go anywhere while you're fighting. But also the Japanese use this to apply. They use it as a tourniquet just in case they were injured and they were bleeding out. So these tassels, they have various purposes during World War II. The Japanese use this for prisoners too, and just pretty much any thing that you can use this tassel, because they are very strong. These are made out of silk, so they're just very very strong. So really, it's not just to show grade, but this were used for multiple things. So thank you so much for watching another episode of the Samurai Monkey 42. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Thank you so much for watching once again. And don't forget to check out my next video. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe into my channel. But also check out my eBay store, the Samurai Monkey 42. Sayonara.